You know those people in horror movie video essay comments who always type, "Not me though, I would have survived that. I'm a mirror, I'm built different." Well, after watching about 3,000 horror movies, I found 10 movies that would absolutely destroy you. And I mean you specifically. No plot armor, no lucky breaks, just pure, unavoidable death. And the last one, it's so psychologically disturbing that YouTube almost didn't let me talk about it. Look, if you're already typing "not me though" in the comments, hit the like button and subscribe first, because if we hit 10,000 likes in this video, I'll break down whatever horror movie killer the top comment wants me to destroy your confidence about next. Choose wisely. Let's start with something you probably think you could survive. Killer sofa. I know you're already typing, "I just stand up." Yeah, that's what everyone thinks until their furniture starts haunting them. This isn't your standard possessed lazy boy. We're dealing with a Dubuque, an ancient spirit that turns furniture into a murder weapon. And before you say, "Just don't sit down," let me ask you something. How many times have you sat down today without even thinking about it? This thing counts on that instinct. It's basically weaponized muscle memory. But I just leave the house, SpongeBob. My brother in Christ, this thing moves. The couch moves. Imagine coming home to find your furniture rearranged, not because your roommate's redecorating, but because your couch is literally learning your daily routine. It's studying you like a predator, waiting for that moment when you're exhausted for work and just want to sit down. Let's break down why you're absolutely screwed. First, it could possess any cushioned furniture. That office chair you're sitting in right now? Yeah, maybe don't lean back too far. Second, it uses every part of itself as a weapon. Springs become spears, padding becomes suffocation devices, and the frame, it can crush bones faster than your gaming chair crushes your dreams of good posture. But the worst part? Try explaining this to anybody. "Help! My recliner is trying to kill me!" The cops will send you to therapy before they send in a SWAT team. By the time anyone believes you, you're already gonna be couch poop. Even your Ring doorbell footage just shows furniture moving slightly. Try explaining that to your insurance company. But here's the real kicker. It's patient. This thing will wait until you're at your most vulnerable. Maybe you're sick with the flu, maybe you've just pulled the muscle, or maybe you're just really, really tired. That's when it strikes, because eventually everyone needs to sit down. But if you think your furniture hunting you is bad, wait until your entire neighborhood decides it's time to legally murder you. So, the Purge. You're probably thinking, "I just bunker down some supplies," or "I just leave the country for that day." Cute plan. Let me explain why you're dead before the sirens even start. First off, you're not as prepared as you think. That emergency kit you've been meaning to put together, yeah, it's probably still sitting in your Amazon cart next to all of the other things you said you're totally gonna use someday. And knowing me and you both, you probably try to Uber Eats during the Purge because your survival instincts are weaker than your cooking skills. "But I just hide." My brother in Christ, your neighbors have been watching you. That nice family next door, they've memorized your work schedule. That HOA lady who complains about your lawn, she's been mapping your blind spots. That kid who delivers your packages, he's got a detailed blueprint of your security system, and he definitely noticed you never lock your back door. But here's the real nightmare. The Purge isn't random chaos. It's calculated. These people have teams, strategies, and your Ring doorbell footage from the last 6 months. While you're panic Googling how to barricade door with IKEA furniture, they're already in your crawl space with color-coded murder plans. And those friends you think will help you, everyone's got a price. And you've definitely posted something on social media that someone's still mad about. That passive-aggressive comment you left on your cousin's baby photos, yeah, they probably remember that. But the scariest part? You won't even see it coming. Maybe your power gets cut early. Maybe your car mysteriously won't start that morning. Maybe your security system has a glitch. Because while you've been posting, "Not me though," in my video comments, your neighbors have had 364 days to plan exactly how they're going to redecorate their living room with all of your stuff. But if you think your neighbors turning into murderers is bad, wait until you meet a British family that makes the Purge look like a block party. Speak no evil is what happens when "I don't want to seem rude" becomes a death sentence. You're probably thinking, "I just leave if things got weird." Right, like how you've been meaning to leave that group chat for the past 6 months that you really don't want to be part of. Let's be honest. Can you even tell the barista that they got your order wrong? You just stand there sipping that pumpkin spice latte that you didn't order, mumbling "thanks," and then you're gonna complain about it to your friends afterwards. Now imagine that same energy, but instead of drinking the wrong coffee, you're watching a British couple casually reveal their murderous tendencies over dinner together. "I'd speak up." My brother in Christ Christ, you apologize when someone else bumps into you. These killers don't need weapons. They weaponize awkwardness. They push boundaries so gradually that calling them out feels more terrifying than actual death. It's like being the world's deadliest dinner party where saying no is considered more offensive than getting murdered. Here's the real nightmare though. They exploit every bit of your social programming. Every time you want to object, they make you feel like you're the problem. Oh, you don't want us to borrow your child? That's kind of sus. How untrusting of you. They're gaslighting you harder than your ex who said we should see other people, but got mad when you actually did it. And your phone won't save you. You'll sit there pretending to check Instagram while they do increasingly disturbing things because confrontation terrifies you more than death. Can't even post about it because you're already accepted their friend request, and unfriending them now would just be kind of awkward. But the worst part, you'll be sitting there thinking, maybe this is just a cultural difference. After all, I've never been in this country before. Maybe this is just how it is here. Yeah, no, they're literally planning your murder right in front of you with the exact same tone that they're using to discuss tea and crumpets. By the time you finally work up the courage to say something, they'll already have your politeness paralyzed self exactly where they want you. But if you think dying because you're too much of a Canadian is bad, wait until you see what happens when two psychos decide to turn your home invasion into a twisted dollhouse. Incident in a Ghostland takes your I'd fight back energy and crushes it like my dreams of ever being tall. You think you're ready to fight back because you've watched some self-defense videos on YouTube? Yeah, and I think I'm a filmmaker because I make YouTube videos. Let's talk about why you're absolutely done for. These aren't your standard home invaders looking for your PS5. These psychos have been stalking you, studying your routine, and planning this longer than I've been planning to fix my sleep schedule. So basically forever. While you're busy doom scrolling away on Instagram Reels, they're creating a whole PowerPoint presentation about your daily habits. I hear them coming. Yeah, okay, man. You can't even hear your mom calling you for dinner with your headphones on, and I still jump when my toast pops up out of the toaster, and I'm the one who put it in there. These killers know your house's layout better than you do, and let's be honest, how many of you still hit your shin on the same coffee table every night? But here's the real nightmare. They're patient. That weird candy truck you saw? Not a coincidence. That strange noise you dismissed? That wasn't your upstairs neighbor trying to do CrossFit at midnight. By the time you realize something's wrong, they've already blocked off every escape route you just thought of while watching this video on your phone. In the dark, alone. They're in your house now, run! I'm just joking. But am I? And weapons? Yeah, that baseball bat under your bed? Please, that's not gonna work. That kitchen knife that you think you'd grab? They've already cleared out your kitchen while you were making your third anxiety snack of the night. The worst part? These aren't just killers. They're masters of trauma. They don't want to just hurt you. They want to rebuild you into their twisted fantasy. And considering how easily that one comment about your haircut in 7th grade broke you, you're not exactly the mental fortress of solitude. I mean, neither am I, but I know I wouldn't survive it in these movies already. I'm trying to convince you why you wouldn't. But if you think psycho home invaders are bad, wait until you see what happens when a one-night stand turns you into something that makes vampires look like picky eaters. Afflicted is what happens when getting ghosted takes on a whole new meaning. You think your dating life is bad now? Wait until your Tinder match literally turns you into a monster. And not the cute, sparkly kind we see in Hotel Transylvania. We're talking body horror that makes my high school yearbook photos look good. Let's break down why you're absolutely screwed. You can't even tell when someone's using a filter on their dating profile. How are you going to notice you're turning into a vampire? You'll be halfway through your transformation thinking, you know, maybe I just ate too much gluten today. And just like every other health problem you Google at 3 a.m., I still think my seasonal depression is just a caffeine deficiency. AKA until you were actually dying, you were just gonna ignore it. I just noticed the changes. Yeah, okay. This transformation hits harder than my self-esteem after checking my bank account. One minute you're blaming the street tacos, the next you're doing parkour off buildings and craving things that would get your Uber Eats account permanently banned if you asked for them. But here's the real nightmare, the hunger. Listen, we can't even handle being hangry at work. You know, one time I ate an entire pizza just because someone left me on red. Now imagine that level of emotional eating, but instead of demolishing a pint of ice cream, you're fighting the urge to turn your roommate into a juice box. But the worst part, you can't tell anyone. Your doctor already judges you for Googling your systems. Try explaining why you suddenly need blackout curtains and a blood type preference. Your friends already question your life choices after that anime body pillow incident, so good luck explaining why you're meal prepping with blood bags and can't make it to brunch because you're allergic to mimosas now. What do you think turning into a vampire is bad? Wait until you see what happens when an underwater exploration turns into a deep sea nightmare. The deep house takes your fear of deep water and adds ghost, because apparently drowning wasn't scary enough. And I don't want to say the filmmakers of this movie stole my idea, but when I was like 6, I wrote a short story about an underwater haunted house. They made a movie about it. Write me my check, please. Let's talk about why you're fish food in this movie. Listen, how long can you hold your breath underwater? water, because these people are trapped in a haunted house at the bottom of a lake with limited oxygen. And I don't think anybody watching this is actually a trained diver, so we're probably all screwed. I just swim away. Dude, let me be real for a second. You probably panic when seaweed touches your foot in the shallow end of the lake, and I still check behind my shower curtain every time I shower for murderers. This isn't like an inflatable kiddie pool. You're dealing with pitch black water, underwater mazes, and ghosts who have had decades to perfect their aquatic jump scares. They're basically running a haunted house with drowning as the complimentary parting gift. But here's the real nightmare here, the claustrophobia. Listen, we get anxious when our hoodies get stuck over our heads. Now imagine being trapped in a flooded hallway, our oxygen running low, while angry spirits are playing Marco Polo with our souls. And that's assuming you can even tell which way is up. Spoiler alert, judging by my entire generation's reliance on Google Maps, we are f***ed. But the worst part, your fancy diving gear, about as reliable as any promises my ex-wife made me. Your underwater camera, dead like my dreams of becoming a professional YouTuber. Your sense of direction, you're underwater. You're screwed. These ghosts don't just want to scare you. They want to turn you into the world's most terrified pool noodle. But you know, if underwater ghosts are bad, wait and see what happens when the government decides to weaponize a demon. The Atticus Institute is what happens when the government decides to spice up MK Ultra with a demon. You think your trust issues and conspiracy theories will save you? I can't even trust myself to remember if I ate today. And you think you can outsmart a federally funded demon? Let's break down why you're absolutely screwed. This isn't your standard possession where some priest shows up with a dollar store holy water and Duolingo Latin. This is the government turning a demon into a weapon. They've got more classified files on this thing than I have unread therapy appointment reminders. And they're treating this demon like it's a nuclear weapon that got ghosted on dating apps. I'd resist the possession because I am built different. My dude, let's be real. How many Facebook ads did you buy stuff from this last month? This demon broke hardened military personnel faster than I break my New Year's resolutions each year. And I break those before January 2nd. You still watch TikToks for 3 hours when you meant to just check one video before bed. And you really think you're going to out willpower something that's been possessing souls since before your ancestors invented pants? But here's the real nightmare of this movie, the experiments. The government isn't trying to exercise this thing. They're trying to weaponize it. Imagine the DMV, but instead of ruining your day with paperwork, they're repossessing your soul with tax dollars. It's the same thing when you think about it. But the worst part, they're watching everything. That weird glitch in your phone, not just your dying battery this time. That feeling someone's watching you, turns out your anxiety was actually a spoiler alert. They've got more surveillance on this thing than my mom has on my Instagram activity. And we all just exist in their demonic research paper on how to control the next nuclear weapon. But if you think government-sponsored demon research is bad, we gotta talk about final prayer, because this is what happens when the Catholic Church's D-team investigators stumble into cosmic horror. You think you're safe because you watch some ghost hunting shows? I can't even handle the jump scares in Minecraft, and you think you're ready for an ancient god's dinner party? Let's break down why you're absolutely done for. This isn't your standard haunted church where some holy water and a quick prayer fixes everything. This is an ancient pagan god that's been waiting under a church longer than I've been avoiding my responsibilities as an adult. And it's not just hungry, it's got the munchies after a few thousand years of fasting. I just stay out of the tunnels. My brother in Christ, me and you both know that we both sprint up the basement stairs after turning off the lights. These tunnels aren't just dark and scary. They're literally playing Tetris with reality. You get lost following Google Maps on a straight road. You think you're gonna navigate cosmic horror's escape room? Here's the real nightmare though, the creature. This thing makes Cthulhu look like a Pixar character. While you're trying to process what you're seeing, your brain's already filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. We as humans can't even handle looking at our tagged photos from 2012. Try comprehending something that exists in dimensions your brain can't even spell, let alone see. But the worst part, this thing doesn't just kill you, it absorbs you. Remember that time you walked into a room and forgot why you were even there? Imagine that, but with your entire existence. And instead of eventually remembering, you become part of an eldritch god's digestive system. Forever. Do you think cosmic horror fast food is bad? Butterfly kisses is what happens when an urban legend gets tired of waiting for you to touch grass. You think you're safe because you spend most of your time not outside and staring at screens? Well, that's like saying you're safe from bears because you watch a lot of the Discovery Channel. Let's break down why you're absolutely done for. This isn't your standard say their name 3 times Bloody Mary urban legend. Peeping Tom requires you to stare down a tunnel for an hour without blinking. That is the only way to beat him. I can't even make it through a TikTok without getting distracted by my own reflection in the screen twice. And you think you've got what it takes? Your attention span makes a goldfish look like a meditation guru. I just not look for it. Ha ha ha! My brother in Christ, let's be real. How often do you resist checking up on your ex's Instagram stories? Yeah, once you know about Peeping Tom, it's like trying not to think about that embarrassing thing you did in 3rd grade at 3 a.m. Your curiosity is probably worse than mine when someone says, we need to talk. And we both know how that story always ends. Here's the real nightmare though, the blinking. After this whole debacle, if you don't last that entire hour, every every time you blink, it gets closer. Have you ever tried to keep your eyes open for a photo when they say smile? Yeah, imagine doing that now for the rest of your life. It's basically turning chronic dry eyes into a death countdown. But the worst part, this thing doesn't just kill you, it erases you. Imagine being ghosted, but instead of it just being my dating life, it's the entire universe. Even all the embarrassing things you posted on Facebook as a kid disappear, which might actually be a blessing when you think about it, but still, the thought is kind of terrifying. But you know, if you think an urban legend that makes you afraid to blink is bad, we need to talk about demonic VeggieTales. Heretic is what happens when religious trauma gets an upgrade from therapy worthy to terminal. You think you're mentally prepared because you survived Catholic school? I still get anxious when I hear bells ring. Yeah, we're not surviving Hugh Grant's spiritual destruction speedrun. Let's break this down while you're absolutely done for. This isn't your standard question your faith situation. This is Hugh Grant channeling every youth pastor who's made you uncomfortable. But instead of awkward pizza parties, he's serving existential annihilation with a side of murder. He's not trying to save your soul like he claims. He's trying to turn it into a modern art installation to try to fake a miracle. I just believe in God and keep my faith strong. Yeah, like that will work. This man is very intelligent and dismantles belief systems faster than I abandon my personality traits after one criticism I get. Don't criticize me, I will cry. This guy has got more psychological warfare tactics than my internal monologue does during a job interview. But here's the real nightmare of this movie, the mind games. While you're struggling to remember that one inspirational quote you saw on Instagram that had a Bible verse, he's already reorganized your entire worldview and made you agree with a very disturbing but probably true argument. But the worst part, you're trapped in his mansion while he turns your core beliefs into funfetti. It's like being stuck in a philosophical escape room designed by some weird twisted philosopher and that one weird relative who always asks you why you're still single. And unlike my commitment issues, there's no ghosting your way out of this one. But there you have it, 10 horror movies that would absolutely destroy you. So let me ask you the hard question now. You still think you're built different? The comment section is right there, waiting for your "not me though" story. But remember, confidence is temporary. Trauma is forever. But don't forget to like and subscribe. If we hit 10K likes, I'll break down whatever horror movie killer the top comment wants me to destroy your confidence about next. Choose wisely, because unlike my dating life, you actually get a say in what traumatizes you this time. If you want to watch more videos just like this, click the playlist on screen now to see a ton more videos about horror movies you definitely wouldn't survive.